And another warm welcome. Will I ever change that greeting? I don't know. It's Chapter 3, Video 2, How to Fly or Move in the Air. When using Google Earth Studio, do you want to move around in the air with undulating grace? Or as painful and as awkward as an arm thrust in a bush of thorns? In other words, you're pulling and pushing, trying to get the thing out, and the viewer will be jumped all over the place, maybe intentionally. On the left-hand side is a beautiful red kite, and underneath it is a red kite in flight. I think at this precise moment, if I was flying around in Google Earth, Google Studio, Google Earth, same thing more or less, I'd like to have serpentine Fibonacci type parabola movements. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So remember, when you're flying around, you've got timeline choices, and especially if you are taking a line in, how do you want to move? This is the Welsh loch or lake that we will in Orgwen, and here's an open timeline. My point in this video is going back to, if you were this red kite or a bird of prey or anything in the sky, how would you move? Pay attention to how things move in the sky. Looking at something like this, it's a pretty graceful affair. So let's have a look at that. And I want to give an example here, just for a couple of seconds, on some footage I've taken, because a lot of the time when I'm moving around, I am looking in real life to how things move in the sky. This is recorded with a mobile phone, and this is the red kite, which has got a wingspan of about 2 meters, nicely gliding in, and it stops there. Then goes over to this particular lake, and there is a particular moment here where we're coming in, and at the moment we're gliding. Notice the wings are out straight, a little bit of flapping there, turning round, and I'll tell you when the moment is coming up. Coming round on a left turn, coming through, looking over the lake, head down, and watch this, up, and drops back down again. There is an awful lot you can take from real life by watching birds or anything in the sky. Another gliding movement there, and off it goes. So that was an example there. Not a long video, this one. My point of it is to think, on the left hand side, are you going to move in a literal sense? Maybe like a bird can physically fly, because it is actually a living animal in the sky with wings flying around, unlike a plane which is mechanically propelled. Okay, you could argue, a glider isn't. Helicopters don't have wings, but they do have kind of movements, and drones, of course, the modern thing, do not follow an item in the sky with wings, yet you've got, on the literal sense, if it is even real, something like Superman here flying around. But on the golden side, almost on the right hand side, I've got things like, can you use Google Earth Studio to fly through the air, to move through the air in a very magical way, like maybe an air dancer, an ice skater, even a flying snake? I love the example of Forrest Gump's feather. If you've never seen the movie, look at the opening sequence. There is this feather blown in the wind that ends up falling down to Forrest Gump's shoe, and he picks it up. But it's, what I'm getting at is, ask yourself, this is just a slide I've included, which I just think is such a magical look. Fireflies flying around. You've got a big chance here in Google Earth Studio, we all have, to really create something quite special, something quite magical. Ask yourself, what flies and what can it see? Because when we carry on down to this thing, we've got certain laws of flight that we can break. In other words, rules. I've included 3 words here. One which I think is lovely with the philosophy of art, with the serpentine movement. I can make this a lot bigger and say something like, can't on there, can I? Doesn't matter, you get the idea. It's like a little S-bend, little S-curve. Here is a river here, which is in Germany, and you can see the meandering serpentine way that it carves through the valley. You've got the classic Fibonacci, which you could argue that Google Earth Studio are already using, like the spiral. And then you've got something here which is at top right, which isn't such a great look, but it's literally like a parabola. In other words, we've got an incline, we've got a steady maxing out of the curve and down, very symmetrical. That one they're talking about different curves. My point here is, summing up, are there any rules in Google Earth Studio Flight? The only rules, I guess, is literally, what do you want to produce? Do you want to create something quite mechanical or something magical that flies through the air? End of this one. See you in the next Google Earth Studio with Mike Downs.